want to build this very functional AI that is making our lives easier. Like we see that with products we use. Like if there was an AI that read all my email, wouldn't that be amazing and tell me like, this is the only email you need to care about? We're doing the same for brokers.
I think AI is gonna empower everyone, and now it's just a matter of like who's more competent using AI.
Some of our brokers get thousands of calls a day, and like, you know, they're able to get to maybe 20%, 30% of that, right? We view this as, you know, human AI coordination. It's scaling up and improving lives and the way we work more than trying to, you know, go after employment and those kind of things.
This is the first time I'm like getting excited talking about nerdy logistics stuff.
AI is like premised on humans going in, or at least a lot of AI. You know, maybe it's changing in some forms, but humans would have to go in and label or outline an image of a human.
Yes.
Yeah.
And say, this is the human.
It's very relevant because we literally got into YC with that, and saying we're gonna kill Scale AI. Scale AI is this company that Facebook just acquired.
Just acquired for,
for
30 billion.
Billions.
You're gonna kill them.
We say we're gonna kill, because what they are a service for what you said, no? Like there is no AI without data, and data you need to label, no? Like say this is a monkey, this is a human.
Yeah.
Today is way more difficult than that, of course, but AI is using, Scale AI is using humans in Philippines, in other regions where labor is less expensive. And we were like, oh, we're gonna automate that to a certain extent, so you need way less humans, and there is, you know, like, and that was the premise. And we started to have some robotics companies, satellite imagery, a lot of satellite imagery, and then we were doing more service than just that, but fine-tuning the model.
Yeah, like, I mean, it went through like synthetic data to like active learning. So you have a model trained and you want to understand where it is underperforming in production so that you can feed it more data. Like if the model is not detecting the dog here, I'm going to just feed it more data of the dog here so that it understands. So it went into like this loop of like...
It's learning.
Yeah,
it's learning.
It's literally like reinforcing the knowledge that it doesn't have.
Just like humans, really.
Yeah.
The more you do something, the more you learn, the better you get at it.
Teaching it with real example, like, hey, you messed up here in production, fix
this little detail, and then go.
Which is
just like humans.
Just like humans, yeah.
Interesting.
So there's an exploratory phase that Javi, you were saying you started exploring voice AI. There was some prototype, I guess, built at the time at which we met?
Yeah. I mean, when I was there, I already had a prototype that was speaking on the phone, and people would be like, "Oh shit!"
Now I recall you did show me this. Yeah.
We should recover those recordings because it was back, like we literally started with the voice AI, and I remember the very first days it was super scrappy. Like it took like, I mean,
but for you because you're like very demanding.
I'm always like too professional, right?
But the thing is, like, remember, when we did this is November 23, like first product. I go to Chattanooga and meet you there. That was the first time I had something ready. ChatGPT was like not on the phone, or today you talk to it. Nobody had ever heard something like this, and people. When I knew, it's because people were like, I want this yesterday. I have thousands of people, or hundreds of people just on the phone, and I came back and told them like, we're gonna do this.
We gotta change direction.
And I kind of knew, as you guys know, because I was in the industry, I was working with freight brokers, and I knew they had people, but I wanted to validate and tell them, look, we don't need to go to hotels, banks, let's stay in logistics, because I think, for example, in anything related to hospitals, we're gonna find barriers with, healthcare is more tricky. Are you gonna recommend the wrong medicine to a person, and then the liability and whatnot? Yeah. But here it's like, selling loads, the risk is high, but
it's not a life, usually.
You're not gonna kill someone.
It's cargo, it's material, it's food, right?
Still
high risk, but less.
Honestly, we found out that it makes less mistakes than people, but we can talk about that later.
At that point, it was a technology problem, like the idea market fit, if you will, like the idea of like putting an AI on the phone and automating those phone calls was clear to everyone. It was like, can we create a product that really fits
so
the
before
market?
you even started this, you heard that people were telling you, I want this, I want this, I want this, which is the right way to do a business, really. Because a lot of times people start, especially like software companies or products like this, a lot of times people build the thing, spend so much money, so much investment, etc. And then they go out to people and people are like, I don't really want it,
Yeah.
But you first found out like, people want this.
Yeah, when I was there, like I got people saying like, this is amazing. And then actually I met the money transport guys.
Yeah.
And they told
Shout
us
out
about
Adrian.
They told us about the Discord channel, and Pablo did a demo with that crappy product in a Discord channel, and I think there is where we met some of the first customers. Then in January, February, we're already starting to be in production.
Boom. I'm taking notes. That's how you start businesses, man. Let's go.
Back when I was brokering freight full-time, my day didn't end when a load delivered. That's actually when the real mess began. Tracking down PODs, dealing with rate disputes, and getting hit with random calls from factoring companies. Total time suck. I wish I had something like ePay Manager back then. They built a platform that keeps brokers, carriers, and factors all on the same page. It actually makes the back office feel organized. If you're still piecing together spreadsheets and emails, this will save you hours. If you're tired of wasting time post-load, go to epaymanager.com or text ePayFC to 80483.
So how you guys have now gone through the classical kind of old school, I wouldn't even call it maybe AI, they were just like kind of techniques for parsing images. Then you were kind of taking an evolution of like, okay, let's maybe start labeling this. Now you're doing the voice. How would you kind of break down and explain the difference in this technology and kind of how it's evolved and why, like,
What's different now?
Voice is something that is now possible, but was not possible, let's say,
2 years ago?
Or 3 years ago.
It's changed so fast.
Yeah, I think like as a startup, most of the time you probably don't want to focus on like the foundation models. And some companies have done it, and like 11 Labs, there's cases where you want to do those breakthroughs, but the amount of money you need to train those like foundation frontier models is so high that it's probably not economical for a startup just starting fresh.
And for context, when you say foundation models, those are the models that power things like
ChatGPT or Anthropic, like Gemini.
I actually haven't checked recently, but almost like billions of dollars of investment.
Like I think Grok spent like
electricity, right, and a lot of compute, GPUs effectively, to train.
200,000 GPUs. I think that's what XAI spent on like their latest training, which is of course something we cannot host here in the office. So once you get those to a solid state, you can just start plugging them together. You know, and we do.
I'll tell you guys what. You engineers are starting to go wild on me and Javi, I think.
I'm trying to break this down in a way that is like, you know, digestible in the format of like why is it different now?
So in voice, let's break it down so you guys understand.
Yeah, but like for me, like I own a trucking company, you know, I don't even go on Instagram, I don't go on X, like I just read some books and I go to the sauna, you know? Yeah. Explain it for me, you know?
There's like a transcriber, like audio comes in and then we have a model that transcribes that into text. And then text comes into like an LLM. LLM is what you use for like ChatGPT. Pretty much text in and then you generate text out. It's as if you ask ChatGPT, this is the conversation, let me know what to answer to this person. And it just answers whatever, and then you synthesize that voice. Okay. And then you stream that to the phone. So there's like multiple pieces chained together, and then we've been doing more advanced like machine learning on top of it, like understanding if the body's like talking to music or not.
I'm gonna try to recapture what I understood out of that. Pretty much, it was basic, and then something happened where it was learning more, and now it's freaking smarter. And what was the breakthrough? It started walking?
As long as those
very simple,
like
you know?
those three pieces are necessary, and if someone doesn't invest heavily on those independently, it is never gonna work end to end. It's such a complex task that it needs like advanced reasoning, it needs like very high fidelity voices, it needs like good transcription, and up to recently, it wasn't possible because of the scale of like the compute and the state of the art in research. Only recently, those three pieces came together, and now we as a startup, we just join them intelligently, and we do like software engineering on top of them. But
so
we
like
needed something.
OpenAI released the AI product. Was that it?
And other players. Like there's
that.
Players in the transcriber. There's players in the voice synthesis.
We have our own models, but those are like smaller little models that help the other bigger models from OpenAI, from these other big companies. Like all together is what creates the voice AI experience, and other experiences now is email, text, whatever. But voice AI was the first thing we did like amazingly good.
And it's amazing now, like when it talks, it's good, and it hears well, and it responds well, and you see that from Siri to you guys to all the AIs now. They're incredible. Christian was just showing me yesterday, I believe, of whisper. Like Christian was whispering to his computer, and it picked up everything. Whisperflow AI. Check that out. It's pretty cool.
You just hold the function key.
Yeah.
But besides the point, the technology, you guys have figured out a way to kind of chain various different products that are offered by these AI companies, and now the value that you're actually providing is really what kind of comes out of chaining these different translations of text, get meaning out of this text, give me an answer, use this answer to kind of produce other results. You can now start streamlining these businesses' operations.
Yeah, and also this is important because this is a big part of what you do. You can do that at a very small scale as a developer out there and be like, look, I can put an AI on the phone or answering emails, but do that robustly for millions of emails and phone calls and everything in parallel. Scalability.
Now you need a lot of people.
Yeah, and very good engineers. Like we have engineers from Uber that came from a team where they were just making sure that Uber app is always up and running. No, like
Just people making sure it doesn't crash because of the amount of
yeah,
growth and flooding.
Exactly.
It's
So
like-
we are doing now 10,000 calls per day for each of our customers, or some of them are doing 20,000 calls per day.
What? You have customers doing how many calls a day?
20,000?
Customers,
Yeah.
brokerages that are doing 20,000 calls per day?
Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah.
You get
some of
confidential?
them, I can name some companies like
Come on. Who's
Can
crushing
we?
it?
Off the record?
No,
they growing it?
no,
I mean,
because I
yeah.
have to be careful because
Are they paying per phone call? Are they paying per?
that's
another interesting topic that you
Custom
open
deals
like
for
a-
people that came earlier, etc., stuff like
No,
that.
no,
This is
no,
such
that-
a- this
it's
is
the-
in very new technologies. I've heard it's difficult to really understand how kind of to price.
Yeah,
things like
it's the question, how do you price AI agents is the question out there in Silicon Valley, and we have customers with different flavors. They want per load, some others want like a revenue share almost, some others just want, I tell
So you're a
them,
little bit boutique. You're custom. You work with them. You're figuring it out together.
yeah, we
with them.
always say price should not be the problem, as long as I am, not losing money. But the way I price you shouldn't be the problem. So if you want per minute, if you want per load, like.
Today's episode is also brought to you by Genlogs. Genlogs is a nationwide sensor network that has collected nearly 2 billion real-time images on trucks. You might say it's crazy, your competitor says it's game changer. See why all the top brokerages now use Genlogs to acquire new customers, source better carriers, and conduct deeper compliance. Book a demo today, it's like slinging freight on God mode.
I like that approach in business because it's listening to the people and you're figuring it out.
Learning all together.
Even though a lot of business books say you should productize it and have one thing and just keep it simple, but
Let's provide value, right? Let's get started, and then you're gonna see the value, and you're gonna help us figure out how to price this, because you need the thing. Like as soon as you show value and it helps your business, you need the thing, and the least thing you want to do is for us to run away with the product. It's like now I want to like find what works better for everyone.
yeah, and that's kind of where I wanted to go mainly. Like my main quest for this is to find out, like me, I've worked at a brokerage, I've had a trucking company. I now help brokerages and trucking companies build teams. And I'm more of a people person, right? I'm very like people managing emotions and the humanity parts of thing. And I see that AI is changing the game, you know what I mean? And so I want to learn, I want to see like, how can this help me? I want to be maybe knowing if I should be making 20,000 calls per day on our teams, right? And I got to answer for all my people back home that are working for us. Like, they're all asking me, Tom, like, I'm working with you, but where's my future? Am I going to still be working with you in a year, 2 years, 3 years? Like, should I go change my career? You know, is logistics still a career for me?
I think AI is gonna empower everyone. Like I heard someone saying that before, like an A+ player was an A+ player, but now like a B+ player with AI can be like an A+ player. So it kind of narrows the amount of talent so that everyone can do the job better. And now it's just a matter of like who's more competent using AI. Like it's always been like that, right? Like in the industry there's transitions, and then whoever uses the transition to the best, then that's it. But it's gonna empower many other people that before couldn't to like do the job better. I mean, that's how I see it.
I love that, but everybody is saying that, you know, David Bell and like all the people doing AI, but like I want to dig deeper there and like really know how like for a carrier sales rep or a tracker, you know, like what does that look like? What can we imagine? So like like which one do you think is doing the most phone calls right now for you guys? Is it a carrier sales role? Is it a dispatcher role?
It's a carrier sales.
Carrier sales for brokers. That's the most popular.
Yeah, we have also like a recruiting company doing a lot of recruitment for carriers, factories, warehouses.
Okay, so recruiting for like talent or recruiting?
Yeah, for carriers, for recruiting. Yeah, they're a marketplace that recruits employee, truck drivers.
To hire drivers?
Yes, to hire and to check on them, not only drivers, but also, are you going to the factory tomorrow? Because they have an app, this customer, and it's like, I don't see in the app that you didn't check in that you're going tomorrow to the factory. If you don't go to the factory, it completely messes up everything. So they just call them and check on them. Hey, I need to know. So doing this type of calls, which is very similar to a track and trace call on a...
Very similar,
so
yes.
Checking, recruiting.
Okay, so Javi, let's dig into
let's
that.
dig.
I'm a brokerage with 17 track and trace guys. They're doing a good job, etc. But they can only do so many track and trace calls every single day, right?
Yeah.
Every single hour. Whereas you guys can dish out like everything that these 17 track and trace people could do in 1 hour, in 15 minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
But like, I know talking to carriers and people out there in the game, they're getting sometimes these calls and they hear AI, click. But you guys can still send a text message, you guys can still email. And so like, okay, so like they respond, you know, and there's ways to like figure that out. But like the cold truth, so now that you're 17, if you could track that hour, like 17 minutes, so like the cold truth is those track and tracers, like what are they gonna be doing now?
A lot of things. Let me get back to
the big problems, I think.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, well,
Go ahead.
in America, like there is enough jobs for everybody to you know, like the AI do all these things, and all the companies that we are working with, their employees in America, they just want them to be redeployed on something else. Like this, like please, yes, I want this, so the guys can focus on their actual job, because they're doing things that they shouldn't even be doing, but the customer is getting picky. Like, hey, their customer, hey, I need to know if you're delivering on time. So now they have people that they actually employed for something else, just checking on drivers.
Yeah, and one of the challenges we have, if I could just add in there, is like we have new guys come in for track and tracing, and they call, and the carrier or the driver will tell them, yeah, I'm there. Yeah. But like, you don't ask the right question and stuff, and like the experienced people know how to feel out more often if that driver's saying the truth. And they can ask it a little bit different to actually find out the truth. But like the newer guys, like, oh yeah, he told me it's there. See it? You know, AI kind of similar. You just
no, AI can send a text message and be like, can you click in this link?
Yeah, so and maybe the track and trace people now, when like shipper calls and it's not there, now you guys actually have a human that still goes. So maybe that's where humans are still involved.
The AI is gonna learn. Like again, if we're in discussion of like where are those humans gonna go, I think it's a different discussion. But the fact that if you're thinking about your business, this AI, like we're thinking about those like agents doing the phone calls per se, and then there's also like a manager worker concept of like another AI entity, like a reasoning agent or something like that. Reasoning agent, in like it can look at data and think for minutes. Like there's a bot doing the phone calls, which needs to be fast. Like it cannot think a lot. But there's another AI looking at all the context, and it's like teaching those agents. If you're doing right, it's gonna tell them, hey, you're doing right, continue negotiating like that, it's good. And
it can learn, just like a human, but now you got an SOP and a playbook that works and learns faster and doesn't forget and feels good all the time, etc.
And it's an optimization problem. Like if we get very,
it's so good.
It's good. Like.
But I want to get back to the humans, because you were trying to be like, but what's gonna happen to humans? And I want to get back to like they, for example, in freight brokers, like they were missing 50% of the calls. And now what's happening is the AI is funneling everything, and they are still there. Nobody has fired anybody in the US, at least. What they're doing is, like, as you were saying, like getting 25, 50% more productive, because they're working with the AI and they are able to do much more, right? And then also to the trackers, the truck drivers, they don't want to talk to AI. That is, sometimes they might get like, well, I'm pissed, I don't want. Honestly, many of them are very happy, because now they are calling a broker and the broker answers always 100% immediately. And if anyone asks, like, I want to talk to a human, the AI says like, good. It's gonna be 10 minutes of waiting time, or maybe an hour. Oh, okay. Let me talk to you.
What is the primary difference between calling, let's say, I don't know, you call some company and then they have a please press 1, please press 2, please press 3. Like I absolutely hate those kind of answering machines, and I'm like, oh my god, just connect me to a human.
Zero right away.
This is different when you call a number at a company, right? How does it answer?
I mean, it's fundamentally different. It just starts with like a human voice. Hello. Like, hey, how can I help you? And
This is Tom.
yeah, like
It's just totally natural.
how can I help you? Let me know like what's the load number, and I'm gonna help you out. And then the person like if they know it's an AI, they're gonna ask like transfer me or whatever, and then the bot comes back with an answer like I can do that. But like it's gonna be faster. I can help you right away. Tell me, and the person is like, holy shit, like this can help me. Like there's like a thing in human psychology at least today where like talking to bots is not gonna be productive or it's not gonna be effective.
People are gonna get used to it. They're gonna have to get used to it because everyone's gonna do it.
And they prefer it. Like when they
And it'll be quicker maybe.
It's quicker.
Yeah, it's quicker.
And
it's more efficient for the driver and for the
it just
thing.
gets instant
and then you
access
still
to
have
it.
humans. If you have that one driver that doesn't answer, click, eventually you'll have the human behind that call and then like, hey man, I'm not AI. Just tell me where you are. Or
At that point, we're going to transfer the calls and
Yeah,
then we're going to be
yeah.
asking if they're AI, but they're humans. So if there needs to be like a human escalation, sure, we do that. Like humans are going to be there. Like it's not that they're gone, right? But the repetitive task of I mean, it's just faster. Sometimes there's just an interface to a data. If there were an API where you could check if a load is available and just do a negotiation, maybe most of the people would do that because it's just faster, right? So like there's some other cases where it's not that intuitive or easy. In that case, humans can take those calls, like no problem.
Man, respect. That's a really hard question and a real hard topic. And it's not your guys' like job to explain to us, you know. And so like I respect you guys taking that on and like explaining it to everybody.
So what this means that an infinite number of calls can be picked up, right? Yeah. And now every single one of these calls is basically how would that be? I mean, I know the terminology is called an agent, right? That gets spin up for the most part. How would you describe an agent? Is it just software that the same software just gets run again, and then you just have 10,000? If 10,000 calls come in, is it 10,000 individual agents? Is that how would you describe that?
That's the state of the art today. Like it's literally prompts, like instructions, SOPs you give to the agent, and then it's software engineering, like chaining those models that we described before. Like that, what I described before was like the state of the art like 1 year ago. Now it's a bit different. Like we've built models, we're doing more end-to-end systems. But at the end of the day, it's just an agent that has been programmed to take that call. And if ahead of time you have some information about the person who's calling, you can let the agent know, like, you're gonna be talking with this person and they work for this carrier, and you wanna probably start the conversation saying this. Like all that memory piece is something you can inject to the agent. Yeah. So it's general, but it's also customizable for like every specific agent you deploy.
Absolutely, and I think one of the unique differences here is that there's two kinds of programming that are happening, right? There's like the typical programming, old school, like, you know, with actual code that you write, like software in different programming languages. But then there's also like programs in the natural language sense, like you write a kind of a process document of how you want somebody to handle a certain scenario, right? And I think can you elaborate a little bit more on like that new paradigm of natural language programming almost, like, which is instructive of like, how should these agents behave once they pick up a call?
So there's different types of things you can do. Like for the most part, you might not want to need an AI for something that's like deterministic, and it's like you need to do this at this point in time, and if this happens, you want to do something else. So most of the time we run those workflows, which today you can create with AI. Like maybe we don't know how to create those workflows. You just ask the system, our platform, you just ask it, hey, create a workflow so that whenever I get an email, check with this API to see if whatever happens, and then you're going to answer back.
And that is effectively a program.
Yes, and that's going to create this workflow, and then within the call itself, it's some other sort of like program where you, in natural language, instruct the bot. Like it's a different type of, like there's multiple layers of AI.
But we're getting to a point in which what you're working towards is you talk to ChatGPT type of UI, and you tell this AI, please, can you create this workflow for me? And it creates the whole program. No, the AI and the non-AI. Yeah, that's what we are
Christian
trying.
just created an entire website for me in a software in 5 minutes yesterday. I was like,
Yeah.
dude.
Tom is really into tracking where all the saunas are throughout the world, and I was just like, hey, Tom, look, like, there's these new things. You can just say what you want.
Kind of like Zillow. Kind of like what you guys created. Yeah, but he did it in 5 minutes, bro.
I wish I had those tools. Like,
But
I
that's
don't know
how
which
much
one.
the technology's changed.
Yeah.
Because 3 years ago, you couldn't do that in 5 minutes. It's, yeah.
That's where we're going to.
We're in a totally new world.
Yeah. You have an AI, or coders have an AI that is helping them code, and now they are doing like the job of 10 people, one person. No? Yeah. So this is going to be similar, at least for the product people in the companies, in our customers. They're going to be able to use our tool to say like, can you create this workflow? This is the creation of things phase. We have other products that are not only voice AI, which we have been discussing too much. I think it would be cool if you tell us what is the vision here, like, or the things you're already working, but are not in production necessarily, some of them, but...
Where are we going? Where
we're going, I think, like, as you said, the UIs, I know I'm going to be creative, like the UIs are going to be created fast,
User
right? Like,
interfaces. Right,
user
what you see on the
interfaces.
screen.
Yeah, like the things the browsers, the things you see on the screen, right? I think in our case, what we're working towards is connecting all the data that the customer has so that our agents can inform their decisions better. Like it all starts with, if we can map we're not gonna create a TMS, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna bring the data from your TMS, your Salesforce, Zendesk, we're gonna bring everything together. And once we have that, we can have voice agents doing specific tasks. We can also have some other agents answering those Zendesk tickets. We can have different types of agents doing different things on top of this knowledge base, if you will. And then this is where it starts getting very interesting. You can create some business-driven KPIs. So if we have access to your whole data, we can say, hey, you worker, as an objective, you need to maximize margins, you need to maximize lost books, you need to maximize or minimize the number of issues with like tracking calls and whatnot. You'll go and look at all the data and teach the sub-agents how to behave properly. So there's like a reinforcement learning loop where if you have access to all the data, you can see what is driving better performance. Because maybe you can look at all the calls and say something like, I'm gonna see last month what type of calls made more margins. Oh, interesting, I found out that, I don't know, this person is booking more load, more margin. How?
I love that. I love that so much because it's so real. If I can interject here a little bit.
Of course.
So like what we do at Whitestone a lot is, and what we're offering is a little bit of like coaching. And we're big fans of the book, Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss.
Yeah.
You guys familiar with it?
Yeah.
And so like a lot of that stuff is like, ChatGPT uses that a lot where if you stay genuinely curious, AI is always genuinely curious. You manage your tone, you listen for the deeper meaning, you label, you mirror, you paraphrase until you get that's right, then you will trigger oxytocin, opening up the floodgates of truth talk, increasing your chances of influencing, strengthening bonds, and uncovering black swans. And that, like, ChatGPT always listens to you, states back to you your situation so you understand well, and then now that like they're like, oh, you understand me, they're better at offering advice, and now you're willing to listen because you know that person understands you. And so we train our like team to be speaking in ways like that with drivers that are like upset, that have all these issues going on, and they're calling, we're so pissed off, all these things, you know, and our people are listening first. Instead of like, dude, I got 30 other problems, like tell me right now or just do it, you know what I mean? We're just like, oh, we hear you, and we listen to it, we repeat it back to that person so that, oh, dude, you understand me. Okay, here's what I think we can do. Let's think together what we can do.
You guys
Now
think that
person's
that's
willing
going to be
take
the
advice.
difference between brokerages in the long run, where they're fine-tuning based on their preferences of how they want these agents to kind of.
Maybe there's also a memory
I
piece.
think I have seen the statistics of that working better. Agents that are doing that, do that, like sometimes you move slow to move faster. People like that have better relationships with dispatchers, drivers, etc. And they can move faster, book more freight, etc. So if you get an agent that's able to do that too, and you see statistically that he's doing that freaking well, oh, this agent we call Chris Voss, you know what I mean? And he's freaking amazing.
But that's for that business. Maybe that doesn't work. Like this is the thing.
Different
Like
industries, different, yeah.
where we're going is not like this black box thing where HappyRobot just powers every broker the same way. It's like, I mean, first of all, how would brokers like make any difference if they're all using the same? We're building this infrastructure and tooling so that everyone can build agents as they want. Like maybe someone optimizes this KPI over this other one, and in turn, they're gonna be training their bots or agents to
So do you
work
think
for them. But
people
maybe
are going to be selling their own agents the way they program them, kind of like that. It's going to be like, hey, this is my guy, and look, this is what he specializes in, and he's got all these prompts and stuff that like they're secret, or maybe they're out there, you know. But people will have their own agents that they can plug and play and choose, and then you can measure the statistics of which agent books more freight, or
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
the tools we're providing is precisely so you build those agents, or we build them for you. But
you build your human, you build your ideal
yeah,
talent, your
the founder of the founder of NVIDIA.
It's getting interesting. It's getting wild.
Yeah, the CEO.
And
of
then you could put him into a body, into a robot body.
And
now he could be your butler too. And now he could be Batman, just fly into your cave and be like, "What's up, butler?"
No, but
For real, like if you spend time teaching this bot to behave as like you can like, it's almost someone else in the company. You're gonna like it's not gonna feel like an AI. It's gonna be someone doing the job, and they're just doing the job. Who cares,
That's
right?
where we're going. That's where we're going, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting wild. How quick? How far away? 1 year, 2
Happening
years?
today.
You guys are racing over here. You guys are about to save the world.
Racing, but I mean, we're working towards that, but we're doing that already with like a lot of customers. Like this is literally working in production with like
and real and
thousands of calls per customer, and it's automating those phone calls and emails and texts and browsing agents for them. We're missing that bigger piece of how do we continuously train it, right? Like, and it's the
Well, you're missing that piece. How do we continuously train it? You're not missing that, are you?
we are. So what we're missing for the most part from customers is they need to give us as much data as they have.
And I got a guy,
they-
or two, or three.
And they've been doing that. They've been doing that, but we need to build the infrastructure that we can pull together a lot of sources. Once we have the data in our platform, then it gets into like this matrix of like the bot is like looking at that and making decisions and updating the like fixing that reinforcement learning
You
or
guys got more
teaching.
data. You can more test runs.
Like
run
negotiate
faster, et
this way during this time of the day, negotiate or vet this carrier, or whatever the decision is that a human would do. Like a human is just looking at other IC or reps doing the job, and they're just getting insights as to what works and what not, and they're training the human reps, right?
It's putting in reps in the gym, right?
Exactly.
What's something you learned in the last 6-9 months of growing?
I think hiring extremely talented people you trust, and being able, like as a founder, you build the thing from grounds up, and there's a lot of things that no one else knows how to do. Being able to distill that into like a team you trust allows you to be thinking about the next thing. Because like what I'm saying about the memory and the learning and whatnot, we couldn't be thinking about that if there's not a magnificent team just running the day-to-day of like all the phone calls, right?
Is it easier to do with AI or is it easier to do with people? That.
Teaching the AI or
Is it easier to teach the AI or easier to teach the team? Or catch them up to speed?
we hire people that come that, this is very, very technical, but the people we were hiring, they're like extremely talented and they're smart, so they're very easy to like get on board and get things going. So there's not a lot of like training.
Yeah, they get it. They get it, they want it,
Humans are
they have
smarter
the capacity to do it.
they are smarter than AI today. Maybe at some point we hire AI employees that just work.
If he keeps training.
Yeah.
Kabir, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Kabir, welcome to the Freak Camera podcast.
Yeah.
Can you real quick, briefly describe what you do at HappyRobot?
Yeah, I am a forward deployed engineer at HappyRobot. So what that means is I spend a good amount of my time with customers, helping them understand our product, understand the way their company functions. Even in the broker space, every brokerage is super unique, extremely different functionalities. So like we are forward, we kind of get into understanding how the company operates, how their teams operate, and like what are the best ways for our AI systems and our AI agents to kind of integrate into their human workflows. So a lot of my time is that discovery, and then as engineers we also help with the development of things. So helping them go live, helping them kind of develop the AI agents, integrate with their systems. So there are days when I'm talking to customers, it's more discovery work. There are days where I'm demoing. There are days where I'm heads down writing lots of code, thinking about analytics, thinking about how do you kind of grow a use case with a customer, like what are unlocks you can get for them, right? And all the way from small touch points of what data we can give them that can help them get better insights, to processes that they can. So it's a very broad role, very generic role in a way, but also super exciting. I mean, I'm at the edge, if you may. Like we have some incredible engineers building really solid product, but I am lucky enough to see it, touch humans and touch the way
You're
teams
on the
work.
front lines, Kabir.
I'm on the front lines.
I can tell you're battling. As soon as we walked in, I see you in a boardroom in a meeting with the team, and you're just like, "There's 5 fucking loads."
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I'm like, "Let's go, Kabir."
Mom, I didn't say that.
Mama, I didn't say that.
Nah.
Amazing. What was that? What you're talking about? If I may.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We are, we're thinking of what is the best way we can create value for customers, right? And like I said, every brokerage works differently, right? Some folks have operations set up in repeatable ways across offices. Some folks operate very uniquely from office to office, team to team. So for us, something we've been thinking about is how do we develop playbooks, right? That can vary from customer to customer, right? And how do you make those playbooks extendable so that customers are, they have clear instructions on how to use our platforms and how to start interacting with our AI. And so some of that is passionate thought and discussion around what that framework and set of frameworks should be and how that ROI definition kind of comes through.
Are we talking about tens of playbooks? Are we talking about hundreds of playbooks? Because the dynamicness of between brokerage, there's a lot of similarities, right? Maybe we can highlight some of those that since you've been in the field too. And how many playbooks are we talking about?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it varies. We, obviously, we're a startup. We are building the plane as we fly it, right? So that does mean that my answer to your question today might be 3. My answer 3 weeks from now might be 10. I don't know. But I mean, for us, the answer to that question is like whatever is working best for the customer, right? If what we've developed for the past 3 customers, brokerages we worked with, does not work for you, cool. Give us 3 days. We'll come up with a better workflow that you can disseminate in your team. So there's no one answer to that, and that's what makes the work tricky as well.
Writing playbooks. He didn't mention he's an author too.
Well, I wish. No, but it's fun work and it's challenging work for sure. And I mean, any software adoption is. AI is no different.
What's been most interesting to you as you've been working on integrating these customers that you've learned throughout this process?
Yeah, I think what's been interesting is the variation in in acceptance of teams as well, right? Like because it is changing the way they work. Some folks are they like the fact that it's doing some portion of their redundant tasks to them. Some folks are kind of challenging the nuances of it. And so
can you give us maybe one example, like what some people want to have as a workflow, and what some people maybe that same thing don't, and why?
Yeah, I mean, for some customers, they want us to be kind of handling verification in certain ways, right? Like validating carriers early on in the process. Some customers want us to kind of think harder about how we kind of managing that, at a load level, right? For some customers, some carriers might be qualified to work with the broker, but not at the load. So there's a lot of variation in how that, conversation kind of plays out, and that's just the nuance of freight broker's job. There's a lot of nuances there. So customers, and very rightly so, right? They are concerned about how is their freight being handled? Is fraud being protected against? Are we, kind of thinking also about the carrier experience, right? Like, a lot we are, lucky to work with customers and brokers who think of carriers as customers, right? So they are very focused on like, hey, is your AI nice to talk to? If it's negotiating with them or, kind of sharing load details or going back and forth, like, what is that experience like? So to me, like, customers are super hyper geared, focused or around that experience, and even that varies from customer to customer. So I think to us, it's understanding how this broker team likes to deal with their carriers and how they work with their carriers, and capturing those workflows well, I think has been, to me, super interesting, right? Like, thinking is very varied.
It sounds to me like you're working on different agents for different brokers to fit what that broker wants, and it's almost like different products, different people for each one of them. And like, okay, we kind of want someone that talks like this voice. Are you actually changing and like tweaking? You're building, like, you're legitimately building different robots for different people, different brokers.
Yeah, 100%. So I mean,
and you're tweaking each one for each broker.
Exactly.
Okay, so
we are.
I'm starting to understand this a little bit more. It's like you guys are offering with different cyborgs, different people that are. Yeah.
Maybe if I were to draw an analogy, and you can tell me if this is correct, but let's say the analogy would be just like a regular computer. Voice, as Javi mentioned earlier, that's just like one piece of it. And kind of the analogy here would be like that. The voice is like how information gets in and out of a company. So maybe a keyboard or mouse, right? Like you're just putting information in and out, right? But then what you're highlighting too, it seems like that there's actually, once the information gets into the system, you guys are actually then helping customers figure out, okay, this process kind of let's execute it, like let's say somewhat automatically in this way. So it's actually beyond just voice, or it's beyond like talking to it, right? It's actually like, okay, once the information kind of gets into the company through voice, through phone, through email, whatever, what do we now do with it? How do we chain that together? Is that?
Absolutely. And we talk about building autonomous AI workers, and work in the modern day has so much to do with data, right? So voice, I mean, logistics is such a voice-oriented industry, right? There is a lot of phone calling, a lot of touch points, a lot of human communication, and so voice is hence that gateway into capturing that information, real-time data, right? Checking if operations are right. But for just a conversation in itself is void, right? You need that data to be placed into your system of record, the TMS, your database system, whatever it is, so that your human now has understanding of what actually went down when you spoke to a carrier. And to your point, like, it's not just voice. We do a bunch of email communications, email back and forth, and the key to us is to go omni-channel, right? Like for example, for track and trace, with a lot of customers that we're doing track and trace, we do make calls to the carrier, but they could be driving, right? They could be doing things, so they may not have the ability to kind of answer the call. And oftentimes in that case, we send text messages, right, as a backup, as a follow-up. So the point is that, like, we're helping our broker customers kind of get in touch with the carriers and run their operations. But to us, what's super important is how we're kind of capturing that data back and storing it in the system. And data integrity is huge for us. So how are we accurately extracting data from calls, from transcripts, from emails, and conversational data is tricky, and there's transcriptions involved, and there's a lot of challenges there. So our engineering team does a lot of thinking and experimentation around improving those systems and measuring them as well, to ensure that that data that we are collecting for customers and kind of extracting for them is super accurate, because that then guides downstream work that their human teams might do, or even more work that our AI agents kind of do for them as they kind of go through the rest of the load journey.
Sure.
You're speaking to customers regularly.
Yeah.
And me, when I had a trucking company, or when I was working as a dispatcher, I kind of built relationships with my customers, brokers, and eventually we became close and we got to understand each other. Sometimes we'd go to the gym together, and they really understood my business, I understood their business. And so we were able to cut out little things that made things longer. Like none of my top brokers ever called me and asked me where my trucks were. I had a spreadsheet for my top brokers that I work off of live, and they have access to it. They have my data, and they just log in. Oh, they know Tom's trucks. They know these drivers just as well as I do.
Yeah.
And then boom, they just send me the load. I call my guy, because the superpower was me. I had the relationship with the driver, and I could, in a great way, convince, tell him, influence him to say this load's great, right? And so very quickly we were able to bang out 35 trucks, cover them with great loads. My guys were super happy always. They know live, transparently what's happening, etc. All that to ask if you, Kabir, could teleport yourself into the mind of your customers today and new customers to kind of just tell them or help them understand to be able to more quickly move for you and for them, just like break all the things and just go fast together.
I think to me, as when you build relationships, you give advice and you give friendly suggestions. To me, I think the biggest thing I think a lot of customers who want to work with us and are working with us have built this, but it's that experimental mindset, right? Prepare
experimental mindset.
Experimental mindset.
Curious.
Be curious and be ready to iterate, right? The world is changing. The way developers, software developers work, the way freight brokers work, everything is changing with AI. And to us, the customers that are, when they come to us or when we come to them, they're already in a place, or they've started to be that, what can this technology do for us? How can it change our processes, right? And the customers who are growing with us and are being successful are challenging the processes they've had, for decades, right? How can we do things differently to scale our work, to improve the way we do things?
How often are you, with your top customers, how often are you hopping on calls and meets with them? And how often do you want to be or should be to really be moving fast?
Yeah, that's a good question. For some customers, it can be daily. For some, and that's great for us as well. That's
you
customers.
Should move in here with you guys. Why don't they have
That's why they have a forward deployed engineer. He goes to them.
We do, and
you go to them too. Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's just a tool that these people, imagine you have 100 friends of this, and you are not using the spreadsheet. Some people maybe don't know how to do that. The AI is their tool to call all these friends and be like, hey, Happy is busy now, he loves you, but if you can tell him if you have capacity, awesome, and then he calls you later and you guys go together to the gym. So just think of an AI agent in this case as a tool to help you scale.
Assists you in doing those mundane tasks and it just lets you do that quicker.
Yeah.
Speaking of, this is a little sidetrack, but I think it applies to every one of our listeners. We're talking about happy robots, etc., and talking about friends that are hitting you up and Javi loves you, but he's busy. I have friends that are hitting me up on LinkedIn, Instagram, and stuff, and I love you, but I'm busy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Do you guys have any AI stuff for Instagram or something that could be responding to my friends and kind of somehow are you using something like that?
Not for Instagram, but for Slack and for our own customers. And actually, in this case, we don't build it ourselves because we're building for logistics. So we're using another startup, right?
Starting another startup?
No, we're using a friend another colleague is building a customer support in Slack. In Slack and connected to email and everything. So we just use another company, another startup, that is a friend of ours, and it's amazing. And it's going through all your Slack messages and helping you a lot, right?
Okay, so people are messaging you on Slack, and you could be doing this podcast right now, and your agent could be responding to some of these things because he knows what's going on in your inbox because he has your data, but you don't necessarily want that person to have all that data and is able to measure that.
Especially if there is transactional things, maybe you have a technical question, the AI can give you that question. It's the same with a load. You have a question about a load, why would you just use the AI is just an interface to data?
How frequently do you go and visit new customers? It's probably taxing to visit customers.
I think we've seen the merits of going and visiting customers, and oftentimes it is in in initial phases of integration and kind of letting the AI out in the world. We found that to be a really powerful time to visit customers. When we're we've spent time building the systems and in the integrations with them, and we are in that anxious phase where we're ready to kind of take it out to the world and test it in real production. We've seen it to be pretty beneficial, mutually beneficial, to kind of be there with customers in that phase. Iron out the last few details, and just kick off that relationship. Really, customers, they test with us, so they've seen how well it works, right? and kind of putting a face to the folks we see on Teams is like we found it honestly really fun. Getting to see how customers work. We've seen boom boxes on rep floors, and the work environments at trade brokers are
boom boxes.
boom boxes.
Wait. So boom boxes on what?
Yep, those.
You guys were dancing?
We weren't dancing, but the reps were. So it's great to kind of go get a sense of the culture.
Okay, so are boom boxes replacing gongs?
Wow, it sounds like it. Sounds like it for these guys, But
Fun. So
yeah,
you're experiencing fun experiences and cultures in different companies.
absolutely. And across the country, been to states I haven't been before, so it's been really fun.
There's a thing you guys call bridge now, right? First off, give us a high-level view of what that is, and then I want to kind of dissect, like we were talking beforehand, what was the before and what's now the after?
Yeah. So, in the age of AI, when we're talking about how work is changing and how humans are collaborating with AI, the questions come about what is the user interface, right, for humans? How do they interact with the work that the AI does? And we have a product that we've I think really well named called Bridge, right? Where the purpose of Bridge is to bridge the work that the human brokerage teams do with the AI autonomous workers that they build on HappyRobot's platform.
And there can be maybe, correct me if I'm wrong on the number here, but there could maybe be 10,000 of these workers at once, right?
Yeah.
How do you monitor 10,000 things happening all at once?
Yeah. So, and that's the challenge, right? Like for a lot of our customers, and this goes to the before question, they, as we kind of built with them and grew with them, we realized that, okay, we're doing these really effective calls for, inbound carrier sales and, track and trace calls and stuff like that. But, and they have all that data available to them, right? But the folks who want for this to scale, you need your brokerage teams to work with the AI agents in a UI that feels native and familiar and is centered around the core piece that we're doing, that we're all kind of integrating at, which is the load. What is the life cycle of the load? What is happening to a load when an AI worker is working on it and the human rep is managing it, right?
So what would be one thing on this on this bridge interface that you see on your computer? What would be one thing I'm like spotting on that?
Yeah. So with the focus on the load, we might be doing, let's say, our AI agents might be taking calls from carriers and helping share load details and negotiating rates with the carrier. So you would, on Bridge, a human, a brokerage team would be able to click on a specific load and look at all the conversations that are that AI agents are having for that load, both inbound as well as outbound, right? We'll be able to capture offers that we're getting from carriers, so we're able to log options throughout the day. And I think this becomes really interesting for brokers because there might be loads that our AI agents have covered already in the day, but maybe through the day there is a load that we've collected 6 offers, 8 offers, 10 offers, right? And we haven't closed yet. And the broker team might be like, I want to understand what is happening with this load. So what we will be able to now give you is live data that the market is telling us about what the market prices this load at, right? So
I worked at Coyote back in like 2013, and they were one of the first brokerages who had something like this figured out. It sounds like a system called Bazooka, and we had, I think, which was unique to most TMS systems and gave Coyote a very big advantage, was they had you open a load and you could go into the offers tab and you could check all the carriers that. Like, I'm talking to a carrier, I ask him, you want this load from Chicago to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and he tells me a rate, and I put that rate in there, and I'm like, can I book it? But the customer rep's like, it's too early in the day, we could get a better price, and so we just offer that. And then 20 other people also get a price, they throw that price in, and now it starts getting later in the day, it's getting, okay, now we gotta take one of these trucks. So that customer rep could hit us up, or like their ops rep, etc., and be like, hey, can you check if you still have that truck? And we reach out, hey, you still want this? That price you gave me earlier today? And I know I didn't take it then, but now we can take it. And so that's what you guys have developed with AI, where with the click of a button, it doesn't have to be that customer ops rep messaging me, calling the carrier, but instead, with the click of a moment, all 20 of those offers could be bing, done, and one of those guys are like, yes, I'll take it. And whoever was the fastest gets it, or something like that. That's a minute detail that you're on the front lines trying to figure out.
You sound like the product owner for Bridge. Let's go, man.
Let's go, baby. I get it. I finally get it.
It's exactly that, right?
That's
like
Bridge.
the goal for Bridge is to be the home where you're able to interact and trigger your AI autonomous, logistics workers. So we want to be giving you insight and giving you control into the full life cycle of the load, from understanding the inbound calls to understanding, okay, cool, this load has been booked, who's doing track and trace? So pre-trip check calls, in-transit check calls, post-trip, what needs to happen? Because it's been delivered, where's the POD, right?
This is the first time I'm like getting excited talking about nerdy logistics stuff. Like,
Isn't it fun?
Yeah.
it's exciting. Holy shit! Who knew logistics could be fun?
Pretty cool. What did it look like before Bridge? Because you guys, for context, right? Like Bridge is a new thing, and you guys have been around for some time now, and you guys also were acquiring a lot of customers before Bridge. So what was the experience like for them?
Yeah, I mean, at a startup, and especially at a YC startup, you're trained and tuned to listen to the voice of the customer, right? So we started off with solving the key customer pain point of scaling up phone conversations, and we started with technology answering that key problem, right? As customers started seeing value in this, as we started to kind of go scale up, we realized we're able to scale up to data levels that is not humanly possible to manage by looking at just all the conversations manually, or looking at a certain run, or looking at extractions or whatever. You need to have an integrated experience that's organized, abstracted, and well actionable, right? Like I want to know what is happening on a given load for the loads that I haven't covered, from a price point of view, from a transit point of view. There's a bunch of that. So for us, what we realized is if we truly want to scale with our customers, our brokerage customers, and help them scale as well, we need to bridge that work that we're doing with our AI agent. So that was really the drive for it.
I have goosebumps.
Come here, Howie. I got a question. You guys still taking on customers? Because I legitimately, I have a handful of customers, brokerages and carriers, and I'm like, yo, if I don't start working with you guys, I love my customers. For me, my customers are family. We get really close, and I want to help them. And I'm realizing right now, if I don't start working closely with Kabir, can Kabir be my boy? Can we be hopping on call daily to get this implemented for all my customers and stuff? And dude, I love experimenting. Yeah. I love figuring these kinds of things. I would be really excited for you.
Yeah, you sound like a...
He's pretty fucking busy. Can we clone you with an AI? Not yet.
Yeah.
But they have to leverage AI, and in all sorts. What we're doing is amazing, but even internally we have an initiative. Whomever is not leveraging AI is maybe gonna be fired or something like that. Because you are 10x more productive. So there are so many.
I think really one of the things I had the question about where does job placement play a role? Over time, as I've been learning more, I don't see jobs going anywhere other than maybe the job changes, but the employment, honestly, is probably going to go through the roof because all of these new job functions of understanding all this new information that you did not have before, it takes a lot of people to kind of parse through that information. What do we do now, right? Is that what you're? Yeah. So how are you seeing for customers that have implemented this HappyRobot? Have you started seeing job function changes?
Well, I think to us, we're able to help customers scale up, right? In cloud technology, there's this concept of just-in-time, right? And you have this notion in a lot of places: just-in-time security passwords, just-in-time
supply chain,
just-in-time employment as well. So customers think of us as this ability to scale up everything, right? Some of our brokers get thousands of calls a day, and they're able to get to maybe 20%, 30% of them, right? How do you capture all that value, both in terms of your own business, but also helping those carriers get answers to the loads that they're interested in, right? So to us, we view this as human AI coordination. It's only going to help folks get more efficient, do more, right? If you're not handling calls from carriers that may not actually be interested in the load because of the equipment issue or the pickup issue, right? They get an answer. Carriers are happy because they've got all the information they need, and you as a rep and your rep teams can now focus on better and bigger problems, right? So to us, it's scaling up and improving lives and the way we work more than trying to go after employment and those kind of things.
I don't see it that way personally, at all. It's so there is part of your job, and I guess maybe this is obvious now, but maybe is part of your job also educating or maybe re-educating these employees on how they use these tools now to continue to do their job, but that job just naturally is starting to change as a part of them picking up these skills. Is that
already what you're starting to do when you go offsite and stuff like that?
100%. And like a lot of our customers, even within days of the pilot, they're seeing huge differences. Like their red teams can feel the difference in call volume. They're like, oh wow, I'm only doing calls where folks are truly interested, qualified leads, if you may, right?
Sure.
Truly interested in working on the load.
And if you're not doing this, you're going to fall behind.
And I think that in terms of in any context of the conversation for employment number changes, it is, in my view, going to be a result of a company not deciding to adopt this technology. That company as a whole might cease to exist, right? And therefore, its employees may be
that's a hot take.
It's a hot take. I'm not speaking on your guys' behalf, right? But that's why I feel like that it is important for our audience to understand like the gravity of the change capabilities that don't fall behind, because if you do, that's where you start to risk, people who you might be responsible for. So, but provided that you are adopting this technology, you're doing way better than you ever have been doing before. Would that be a good
Yeah,
thing?
you guys are the best allies to brokers and carriers. Like, you are the best ally. Like, I thought I was a good ally, but like, oh my gosh. You guys are
I
game
think I
changers.
mentioned this in the previous podcast, but like in a customer during Thanksgiving or I don't remember what festivity, one of the carrier sales reps got dressed as one of the bots. We call the bot Kate. Kate. And they did a personification of Kate. They are so happy. They love Kate in this case because it's making them 25% more money, like more commissions.
Less problems.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. Imagine all the things you will do in your day.
So I wanted to ask, like, you guys have told us like very great case studies and examples of how you guys are doing it as carriers, etc. Have you thought about how, or are you already like doing it for customer reps at brokerages? Yeah. Yeah, like have you kind of put that focus in there?
We're overfitting here a little bit on carrier sales, but really, once we land in an organization, they start saying like, oh, can you do collections? Can you do sales? We're doing not carrier sales, but also like shipper sales.
Yeah, and now I see why you need people fast.
Yeah.
Now I see.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, customer support, any type of email, phone call, interaction. Yeah. We're doing that. Even I think I told you recruitment. We're doing recruiting people.
So Bridge, what other product do you have?
Well,
Main product?
yeah, we call it platform.
Kate?
Yeah. Platform, which is, again, maybe this is jargon, internal wording, but it's essentially where we develop the agents, right? Where we do the work of instructing the agents of how to work and set up our voice systems, etc. And it's all built on this really scalable and abstracted tech stack, if you may. So the developer experience is honestly great in a way, but Bridge is that abstraction for our brokerage customers, essentially, that they don't need to get into the nitty-gritties of things because they can focus on the business outcomes, essentially.
How are you guys like doing like leadership and management and like meeting everybody and like you guys are hustling, and you're growing so fast? Like, do you guys are you guys running like a brokerage at some point? Like, people are just come in, focused on their thing? Like, are you doing team huddles? Okay, this is what we're working on. Like, how do you even go about like something that's moving so fast? And
it's a little bit crazy. It could be better, but we use Slack a lot. I would say that's where everything happens. We don't abuse email like I think in the old times.
So you got one big Slack where you're giving updates and.
We have different channels. No, everything happens in Slack. I would say like Kabir, you have to go tomorrow to visit this customer in the middle of Colombo in Ohio. No? Yeah, for sure. Let me take a plane tomorrow.
Yeah, we live and breathe in Slack. That's definitely where a lot of actions happens, and it's not just small messages. You give your brain dumps there as well, and like how he said, like we're super heavy on AI tooling internally. So our AI agents that operate on the Slack can then help us accumulate data and put it into more actionable insight reports separately. So Slack is heavy. We're big lovers of Notion as well. Pablo loves Notion.
Yeah, I don't even know if the audience knows about Notion.
It's a really, simply put, is a very good note taker.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you can use it, almost like Excel. You can use it in so many different ways.
Yeah.
But it's a note taker at its core, right?
Yeah, it's a place where you have spreadsheets, so to speak, Word documents, everything in just a good note taker. Slack, by the way, is the equivalent of Teams, right?
Correct,
But
Microsoft
more
Teams,
for
yeah.
developers. And then, of course, in the office, no? Like there's people constantly, hey, can you come here and have a 5 minutes meeting to explain me how we're tackling this use case with this customer. And then we have, this is a fun one, because we have people in Europe as well. We have this virtual office where everybody is there, and it looks like Pokemon. Like it's like a video game, right? Yeah. So you can go to the desk of a colleague that is in Spain and be like, "Hey, are you there?" Right.
Is that by chance the same thing that Adrian was?
I told him about it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Catherine, tell us real quick, what do you do at HappyRobot? And there's also an interesting story here all together, but what do you work on? What do you focus on?
I work in growth, which is basically everything that's like top of funnel, like marketing, partnerships, business development, anything that we need to do to get leads in the door, anything that's related to like communicating visually or with words what HappyRobot is and why people should care.
Okay. So if a new big customer is reaching out, because you don't like right now, you guys are so flooded. You guys are like people that are seeing this opportunity are reaching out to you guys, and unfortunately, some of us have been too late. Like the smaller, medium-sized brokers, we're late probably. And so the bigger guys that are reaching out, like if you're at one of these big corporations and you've got some sway, et cetera, and they reach out, they'll probably speak with you, Kate.
If they reach out to us, they might talk to one of our SDRs. But if we go to an event or something, like I will certainly be trying to talk to them there, and they can meet up with me.
Okay.
I like to meet people in person.
Okay.
What is a growth role, can you elaborate on a little bit of what a growth role looks like day to day? That's it means many different things, but how would you define it?
Yeah.
8:40 p.m.
Yeah.
Let's
as long
go.
as we grow.
Yeah. I mean, at a very abstract level, like anything that we can do to fill top of funnel, like or anything that's related to like branding. Like we just did a new website launch, the branding that you might see
graphic,
here.
By the way,
we worked with a design team for this, very talented. But like the copy and like how we talk about HappyRobot, worked on that. Planning events and conferences. Building some of the like operations behind that. Yesterday I was at an event like presenting to some corporates about like what HappyRobot is and why they should care. Preparing like sales enablement materials I do sometimes, like a little bit of a bit of those categories mostly.
All the things, but when you started, like in a startup, sometimes you have to wear so many hats.
It's only in the last few
That's
months that
why
I've
growth.
actually focused on those things actually.
So you're kind of a like gardener in some ways.
Yeah.
There's lots of flowers.
LinkedIn,
There's lots of beautiful
plants.
trees and stuff. You're like, okay, we'll like work on water you here. You need some vitamins, some nutrients. Here we're gonna
This
bury a
one's
fish
starting to
head
dry
so
out.
this tomato starts to grow well.
Yeah.
I love that. Beautiful. And then you're also doing some HR stuff, like you're
HR.
wherever I need to plug the whole.
A little bit of when I first started, I was like an account executive for the most part. For the first couple of months, it was just like Javi and Pablo and I basically like on the road trying to like talk to people. And then I was
Living
working
like
on
rock
contracts, which is insane. Living rock stars. Yeah.
Rockstar lifestyle.
Yeah.
We have a good story about that.
About our on the road journey.
And Pablo, like Rockstar, we call him Elvis.
We do call Pablo Elvis. Yeah.
I'm happy sitting here with you guys because I can feel that you guys are also having fun throughout this. Like sometimes you go like and they're going to the moon, they're like changing the world, but it's so serious that people forget to have fun and enjoy life. And I feel like you guys haven't forgot about that. Like you still got some sun. You're getting some sunshine. Like let's go,
If you don't
Am I
enjoy
wrong?
it,
Am I totally wrong?
No. If you don't enjoy it, like what is the point? That's like we care a lot about the people that we bring on the team. Like if you work with really great people and you're doing something that you all enjoy together, like it's not going to feel like work most of the time actually. And when that's true, like you can work insane hours and accomplish like really crazy things and enjoy that you were doing that. If that's not true, it's not possible.
You're saying plants grow better when they're having fun and they're dancing in the rain. And okay.
Well, we'll stick with the like gardening, the plant analogy. I like it. Yeah.
Love it.
What were you doing before HappyRobot?
I was at another startup before HappyRobot. I did that for a few years, and then before that, I used to work with Javi at another company. I did like FP&A and revenue management, so like
Finance.
yeah, at a very high level, like making sure that at any point in time we were making the most amount of money that we could possibly make.
Where are we going? Like, what's the vision for this? Are you guys going to be the next Amazon? Are you guys going to be, maybe not Amazon, but like, what is what are you dreaming about 10 years, 15 years, 20 years from now?
I don't think we have like a grand vision of becoming like powerful as a company. Like the vision is more on the product, like what we think is cool to build, and while we focus all our energy on that, it seems like people like it and it makes the company grow. But we don't want to grow like, oh, we want to IPO. What is the purpose of that? It's more like we want to build this cool AI, well, not cool, like very functional AI that is making our lives easier. Like we see that with products we use. Like if there was an AI that read all my email, wouldn't that be amazing and tell me like this is the only email you need to care about? We're doing the same for brokers, no, and other similar supply chain companies. Like,
so you don't have any aspirations right now of selling HappyRobot, IPO? Like, you guys, let's run it. Let's have fun, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, why end this party?
Yeah, it's not about like let's become billionaires. I think we were discussing before. It's very likely that you make more money working today at Google or OpenAI or Meta.
Quick money.
Quick money. Yeah, long term, who knows? But let's see. But right now, this is not the best way to make quick money at all. It's more about having that fun and building that product that you believe is amazing.
Absolutely. Catherine, what's most surprising for you about building this business?
You start to notice a lot of like challenges with scaling a team, I think like a lot earlier than you expect to. Like very simple things like how you communicate internally and like make sure that everybody knows like, hey, one of our FDEs just built this like really cool thing for a customer and I don't know about it. And when we were 10 people, like you know everything that's going on and you very quickly escape that like you know everything that's going on point and it becomes difficult to like communicate internally.
Yeah, and just one Slack channel message is not very easy to explain, even with AI.
Yeah.
It's help. Yeah, and writing that, and then some people actually understand. I think like a video message maybe would be better on that Slack posting. Yeah, like, listen, and we have like a presentation.
What we do a lot is I talk to...
You do voice messages?
To AI. No, I talk to AI and then tell AI, summarize this. And the AI summarize the Slack message. And then I think people do the same. No, they pass their AI, it's like, what is the summary of this? So this is the way we're leveraging. But that's exactly it, no? Like we're feeling that we cannot control every detail anymore, even with the assistance of AI.
I'm assuming it's pretty hard.
Oh, so fun.
Yeah. I mean, we should, like, you don't necessarily need to control every detail anymore, I guess. But it's, I don't know, it's strange to like go from that to like, I knew every detail about like every deal that was coming through HappyRobot. And now it's like, we just signed a new customer and I'm like, I didn't even know we were talking to this person. That's crazy. It's very surprising how fast that happens. Like I thought that would happen at like 100 people or something, but at like 25 you start to see it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't remember what book I read, but like one of the Japanese companies that we're building, like he's legendary founder owner. If I ever find it, I'll recommend the book or I'll send the thing. But he was talking about how like you have a completely different business at 4 people, and then every time you double, 8 people, 16 people, whatever the math is after that. I'm not the best mathematician. I'm a people person. And you keep doubling that, just every single one requires a whole new level and like new challenges and new things. And it's exciting. And there's people who have freaking done it. And so if we could find those people and be like,
Since now you have Sam Altman, the founder of OpenAI, and some people saying like maybe the large organizations of tomorrow are gonna stop at 100 people because leveraging all these tools. That doesn't mean people will have jobs. There will be more companies. Which is only 100 people.
Maybe Javi, maybe.
Verticalized companies, more verticalized companies. There's a lot of like today, you know, there's a lot of the big companies. it seems like they do a lot of horizontal ground coverage is kind of probably maybe a good way to put it. But I feel like that as these capabilities to build things become much more accessible, you just start to become more like niche focused, right? And you just go as deep on that niche as you possibly can, which is before maybe it didn't make as much sense. Catherine, you said you were involved in some of the content writing part of the growth role. What do you think, or what would you say was some of the challenges around kind of shaping what that content should say to maybe reframe the way that some customers thought about what HappyRobot was, what it wasn't? What was kind of, how was it working through the content and kind of copywriting and stuff like that?
Yeah. In general, I think one of the most challenging things about communicating HappyRobot and what we do is that sometimes it's easier for people to understand what you do if you give them a very specific example. But if you're too specific, you also somehow like pigeonhole yourself. And what the product can do is like so much larger and so much broader than like inbound carrier sales and track and trace. And if you just talk about those things in too much detail, then like, okay, they do inbound carrier sales and track and trace. But if you get too broad, it's also very hard to like ground people to earth because you share the vision and you share like this like really magical technology. And then it's like hard to like ground that and grasp like, okay, but what specifically can that do for me today? And I think like balancing very well this like, this is the future, like this like super cool vision, this is gonna do all these things for you, for example, and then like trying not to pigeonhole yourself with the examples. That's always a little bit of a challenge.
How have you worked through that so far? Like what iteration are we on right now that maybe seems like, you know, this is working for you guys?
I mean, just went through the website, so like that as a very specific example, like very, very broad capabilities in the landing page, and then like having ways for people to say like, okay, you work in logistics, or you're a manufacturer, you're a retailer, like this is specifically what we can do for you. But like giving those examples only after we've kind of like set the stage of like, very broadly speaking, like you're gonna have these AI workers, they're gonna do this for you, you're gonna be able to like manage them in this way and all of these details, and then like, okay, concrete now, like an example of that.
Yeah, I mean, I came into here not knowing that much, and now after speaking to a lot of the team, I fucking get it, and I'm lit up like, whoa. Like once you get it, and it's like, you can't unsee it. And better communicating that to the right people. Like that, you hope the website can kind of just very quickly communicate, oh, I get it right away.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But it's not so simple. It seems so simple, but even now, if I had to repeat it to someone to really get it, like I just got it. It's not so simple.
Communication is.
But if you watch
extremely
this
hard.
episode fully, you'll get it.
I hope so.
And it'll change your life.
And there are different type of audiences within a customer, because we talk to the product team and the IT team, and there is the platform where they can build the agents, or we build with them. And then there is their actual reps, and they have bridge or other UIs, maybe talking to the AI through Teams. And that's how you communicate to those guys. Sure. There's different audiences within a customer.
Do you use AI tools to help you with any of this copywriting? Like ideating and stuff like this?
I am very, for brainstorming, like very specific things, sometimes yes, like I want to say this, and like I care a lot about like the very specific like nuance of a word, and sometimes I'm not able to grab it. I'm like, I want to say this in this detail, like can you please like give me some more options
rerun
here?
it like 50 times to get the right one.
And I'm like, all right,
because you know it's the little details that change everything.
Yeah, for things like that, yes. I'm very anti-AI writing copy in like
mass.
In breadth, in any sort of, like I wouldn't ask AI to like write a landing page about HappyRobot about this and like use that as a starting point. I feel if
what
you
is
start
a prompt
there,
you would use as a starting point? Like,
I would not start with I would write like, this is what I want to say, and then ask it to help me like come up with the like specific nuance if I get stuck. It's ironic.
But is it an important tool? Like for you?
It is.
Do you also ask it how, because Paul told me to start doing this.
Yeah.
Ask it at the end, and also how can I better prompt you to better understand me?
Yes.
I should do that more often.
Oh yeah.
That's a great trick. I should do it more
tricky
often.
trick.
And also for imagery and
For imagery, it's awesome. Once you know, like, So we had a really great design team. They're called EW. They're kind of hard to find on the internet, and I think it's because everybody who works with them recommends them afterwards, and they just like live
What are
off
they
of word of mouth. EW. These are like
EW.
yeah, some of the most like ridiculously talented people ever. I love them.
Is it like a website? It's a website where you find
They're a design agency.
design agents.
Maybe I shouldn't drop that for everybody. EW don't work with art. I'm just kidding. No.
Yeah. Stay focused on us.
Yeah, stay focused, stay focused. But like we worked with them to come up with this like concept, this like very futuristic but still like grounded in reality. And then they were like, this is the tool we use, these are the prompts we used, and then you can just go crazy. And it's like, I want to see like a manufacturing floor with this like vibe. I want to see like.
So this is
space.
AI generated?
Yeah, that's AI. I mean, yeah.
Can you tell us about this?
Tell us about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So like in general, like we wanted something. Like what we're building is very futuristic, but we didn't want it to feel like cold or like spacey. I feel like when you think of like the future, the first place that you go is like space.
Cold robots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to feel that way. Like it, like the
Doesn't
name,
have to be that way.
It doesn't have to be like
we
that.
can build a better future.
Yeah. It
with
can be
good
warm.
people.
It can be
Yeah.
cozy. Yeah.
Okay. It could be fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a
So-
little bit of that tone, like wanting it to have like a little bit more warmth, still feel futuristic, but like still grounded in reality. Like we're not trying to like escape into like another dimension. Like we're just like we're trying to make
San
this
Francisco,
better.
cargo,
yeah.
and like looking out into the clouds and seeing
yeah.
just waves of clouds or just fluffy clouds. I just want to fly in them like
Yeah.
Peter Pan.
That's how you feel when you plug HappyRobot.
yeah.
Boom. It's
And that is maybe
easy.
the AI
We're in
worker,
the
we'll never
clouds. And now you'll only see the problems come through the clouds that are like the biggest problems, you know, and the small ones are now solved.
I like
Yeah.
that analogy.
Yeah.
I like it.
Now kind of like reverse Tetris. This problem peeps through, you know, and that's a big problem. I'm like, okay, we need someone to put this one down. And now this one, put this one down. Yeah, and that's what it's saving you do.
I like it.
I get it, man.
He gets it.
Yeah, that's it. Because all the little bullshit problems, I don't have to deal with anymore.
And then
They
we
just
don't
stay under
have
the
to
clouds,
work. It's
yeah.
not
Yeah.
even not having like replacing people. It's like we're gonna work 2 hours a day, and then we're just chilling. No, like why do I have to work?
I mean, when I got Butler,
How many hours do you work like per day? 12, 13, 14?
A minimum of 12.
Why do we have to work?
doing that now so that the whole world can work too.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that sounds nice. I like what you're working to. I like what you're working to. That's the answer to my question. Where are we going to be in 10, 15 years? What's the vision? There we go.
We're gonna be reading books, no?
Yeah, we're going to be reading books, learning, and like, whew, yeah. Shit.
When you think about the 10 to 15 year horizon, nobody can really predict.
We'll be speaking every
reliably.
single
3 years
language.
from now, it will be completely different than what you might think today, or even honestly, in 6 months, it might be completely different. But what do you think? How do you think, as this whole industry starts to adopt technology like HappyRobot, right? What does it look like 10 years from now? First off, do you think about that? Do you spend time thinking about that? Is that like a
Something you think
Or
about?
are you-
Have you
are
thought
you- are
about
you
it?
kind of
Or
just
can we
dating-
live think
or-
through it?
Yeah, or are you just day to day, just kind of like invested in like, let's just make sure everything's running smoothly?
And if I could just add a little tweak to it, addition, if you, like, how do you hope it goes? You know, like if you could influence it, like just a little, like what direction? How do you hope it looks like?
Yeah. I mean, in general, definitely have to think about it. Otherwise, like, what is the day-to-day going towards?
Dream. Let's get in the
the-
clouds and dream a little bit.
Yeah. Gets very, you don't know what you're really building towards if you don't. But I guess, like, in general, I don't think anybody wants to do the, like, once you've done a task a few times and you've done it, like, repetitively enough, you know how to do it, you're not learning anything. Like, as a human, you don't benefit anymore from doing that thing. Like, it doesn't serve you at all anymore to, like, sit there and continue doing that thing. To, like, automate yourself and move on, I think that's going to be to, like, such an extreme. Like, if you run a logistics business or if you're a manufacturer, like whatever company in the world is going to have access to this technology through some sort of one provider or another, like, you just get to, you're almost like a pilot of this, like, or like you're sitting in this, like, control tower view, sometimes we call it, and you just have this, like, crew that's, like, doing things for you. You're like, in general, right now in my job, I'm, like, trying to, like, figure out how we do something, and then, like, hopefully I can teach somebody how to do it, and then they can, like, continue doing that thing. And you're going to be able to do that with, like, AIs. Like, it's super boring. It's not fun. It's not engaging to be, like, stuck in something where you're just doing repetitive things all the time. I don't think that will exist at all anymore. Like once you've discovered something and you know how to do it and you don't want to do it anymore, then you teach the AI how to do it and it will do it forevermore, and you get to keep discovering what the next new thing
You
that
can
you
solve
can do
the bigger,
is.
cooler problems.
Yeah, learn
right?
something new, engage yourself, do something more engaging, and once you're bored with that, teach an AI how to do it, and then it'll take over, and then you just keep building on the next thing. And yeah, go ahead.
Javi?
Mine is long, so maybe. And it's coming back to supply chain.
Mine is planting a seed.
Okay, let me say. So the way I see it is like, I was the CFO of a manufacturer. No, I was shipping goods and always arriving late to deliver to Walmart. It was not full. It's all about like making this running way more smoothly, and then like inventory planning, like prediction of what does Walmart need, and
Less waste.
You have just people, less waste. You have a lot of people. This is what you're saying. A lot of people just going through different screens, trying to what happened? Why didn't we deliver on time and in full? And you go to the other screen, and then you send an email to your supplier. It's like, it was your fault. So all these things, if you put an intelligence layer on top of all this data, like this is gonna run smoothly. And this is what we're building towards. Putting this intelligent AI on top of all this data. And because humans, as much as we are amazing, you cannot be on top of all these things all at once, or even if one can, but then you're not connected to the other 20 humans in the organization. An example of this is an AI, for example, is doing today 10 phone calls at once, or emails, and is fully aware. It's immediately optimizing for the best price. This cannot happen with humans. Like the AI is on top of 10 things at once. Humans, like 10 humans are in a phone call, and they don't talk to each other. They are just like, they close whatever first offer they get. So imagine this in how do you deliver from the raw material to the shelf on Walmart super smoothly.
Just cut out all the extra time, energy, calories, focus. Just get it.
Yeah, and no more
smooth, quick, and only get involved if something peeps through the cloud, like accident happened physically or
New problem to
like
solve.
Yeah, just the biggest. But and that makes us so much more efficient and lets us focus on other things with our time.
Yeah,
Right?
like outside of the world of HappyRobot, this technology in general, like you don't have to use it to like do something like super techy. Like I use it to like make recipes with like whatever ingredients I have at home because I like to cook and bake.
That's
like
a great idea.
you can use it for whatever. It
Let's
opens
go.
the
If we
possibility.
can do that, like let's go.
Yeah, big trees, big
that's
trees.
that's the life play. Like if our kids could be living in giant trees, and if we could make a city like that, and like then I'm happy about the future. Then I'm a happy human, and I'm happy to work with robots. If we could do that, if we could work towards that, if that's the future we're pushing to.
I think in
Then I'm
general,
happy-
whatever mission you have, they will help you get there faster. That's what like the Elon Musk
Happy
is like
human, happy
building
robot.
the like AI for the purpose of solving like the secrets of the universe, or like unlocking the truth of the universe, not secrets, truth, however you want to phrase it.
the meaning.
That's exactly the meaning of the universe. I don't know what word he used there. The new ones.
All of that.
Yeah, like that's a great purpose, and maybe that helps us figure out how to, I don't know.
Can we cast
some of that
spells like
stuff.
Harry Potter
Yeah.
then maybe eventually?
Why
Put the
plants
code
grow
in.
better when you show them love? What is that?
What is that?
Would love to know.
Maybe the answer to all this is 42.
Maybe HappyRobot already knows that answer. Why do they grow better? No, but like life is magical. Life is magical.